Before we get into today's video, I wanted to show you that I have a new product. It's my U2s, and it's an action figure of myself, which, you know, everyone needs at least 1 or 12 of these. There it is. It's me playing the guitar. It has my guitar, it has me, it has my face tattoos, and this is the box. It's pretty sick. And back here it says, I've got a graveyard and she's got a broken heart, which is from one of my songs called Zombie. This is a limited edition figure, and it's only going to be out for about 20 more days when you're watching this. I don't know. It's only out for a little bit, and if you do not get it now, you'll never get it. Also, there's an edition that comes with a pin of myself, so if you want a cuter version of me that looks really cool, there it is. My YouTubes is linked down below, or you can just go to youtubes.com and search up Johnny Gilbert. And thank you very much for all the support. Thank you. Enjoy the video. I saw that Patrick CC, who's another YouTuber that I've watched videos of before, did a video on Cody Ko. Cody Ko is a well-known YouTuber that did a lot of like commentary. He also did Vine stuff before that. He's also a DJ and has been continuing his DJ career after all this commotion has come about. Of him having sex with Tana Mongeau. Close enough. Tana Mongeau. We'll just go with Mojo. I think that's how I would say it. It's probably not correct, but I am trying. When she was 17 and he was, I think, 25 or 24. I'm pretty sure 25 though. I could be wrong. We'll find out. Also on top of that, they were, I guess, texting, most likely romantically. I cannot confirm, while she was 16, and that's when the conversations began. Yeah, it's all kind of been unfolding. I haven't really covered this topic due to the fact that I kind of missed the mark on that one. I just wasn't really streaming, but here I am, and it's still kind of going on, and I figured this is a good way to at least kind of go through it. Maybe I feel like this video will probably cover it, and I can go ooh and ah and commentate on it. So
Cody Ko is one of the most beloved YouTubers who has earned over 1 billion views, launched multiple successful business ventures, and is friends with some of the most popular creators on the platform. However, he has been losing tens of thousands of subscribers every day for the past 6 weeks, and that's because he has been the subject of some shocking allegations that involve having intercourse with a minor. Despite this, there still has been no response from Cody. Many are wondering why, when, and how.
I don't know. I mean, wondering why. I mean, he's obviously doesn't know what the fuck to say. Not saying that, like, should obviously say, yeah, that was fucked up and bad and da-da-da. But that would also be him admitting to it, and he's probably trying not to admit to it. With that being said, I mean, definitely know why he's not saying anything.
How he will respond.
Yeah.
Cody has exactly 3 options of how to respond to this situation. The
True.
first is bad, the second is terrible, and the third is not morally right, but it is almost definitely what he will end up doing. Today we are going to discuss...
Is the third one silence? Is he just going to stay silent? Because it's either admit it and own it, which in this position obviously is the right thing to do. So, I mean, if you could do the right thing for once, probably do it. Or deny it, which is not right. You can't really deny it at this point, to be quite honest. You'll just look stupid.
Them all, but before we do that, it's important to understand the context of how he got here. First of all, the alleged victim in the situation is Tana Mongeau, who is also a very popular YouTuber with over 5 million subscribers, as well as the host of the 8th most popular podcast in the world,
Wow.
Cancelled.
I know
Tana
it's that
and her
popular.
co-host Brooke Schofield do a live version of the podcast all around the country, and in June of 2024, a video of the show made the rounds on the internet revealing some shocking information about Cody.
Who's the smallest dick you ever had?
Oh my god, no one look at me, Cody Ko.
I would die if someone was on stage and said that I had the smallest dick that they've been with. I'd die. I would die. Anyways, especially if it was recorded. Obviously, he deserves this though.
I can say that. I was literally 17. I can say that. What?
Tana says she had sex with Cody when she was 17.
Yeah, that's
that
bad.
would mean it would have happened sometime between June 24th, 2015 and June 23rd, 2016. That would also mean that Cody Ko was 25 or 26 years old. As you can imagine, people on the internet started asking questions. Isn't this illegal? Isn't this statutory rape? At the very least, isn't it a bit creepy? But Cody Ko fans tried to defend him
all
by
the
saying
above.
that 17 and 25 is legal in most US states, or that Tana was just doing this for drama or content.
Jesus.
Now, Tana acknowledges that she didn't present herself as a
Such
victim in the
douchey.
situation, and was merely just making a joke on stage. However, seeing the reactions from the internet, as well as maturing and taking time to understand her past, made her perspective change a little bit.
It changes a lot, I think, for people when they become the age of the person that they were hooking up with while they were not legally supposed to hook up with that person. So for her becoming I don't know how exactly old she is, probably 25, 26, somewhere in that range, which is like the age range that he was when he hooked up with her at 17 years old. It changes a lot. It makes you go, oh yeah, that's fucked up.
But
like even more.
there isn't a part of me, at least at 25 now. I mean, I look back and I would never do anything like
Exactly.
that. So I'm like, what the fuck was wrong with you?
Yeah.
But I don't associate or hold it with trauma because I am such a comparative person where I'm like, so many worse things have happened to me. And that's bad. It feels like all of the other people I hooked up with when I was 18, whether they were 30 or whether they were not 30 and they were my age, because I have my feelings towards it, right? And like I'm expressing those right now. And I said that on stage very much so as just I was being jokey about it and whatever, right? And it's almost like the public's reaction to this has made me feel 10 different types of ways that I didn't feel before. Like I have seen so many comments of people like on some like, but what was she wearing? You know what I mean? On some like, well, it's Tana Mongeau. You know how I feel towards it, but now seeing all of these people like not believe me and say, well, what if she's lying or she's this and
crazy.
She's that and she's dramatic.
And while Tana
People
was
suck.
openly having this conversation online to her millions of fans, there wasn't an abundance of coverage about it on YouTube, which is surprising since most YouTube drama channels and news channels are extremely quick to raise awareness about a story like this, especially when it involves another YouTuber. So this whole situation almost slipped through the cracks until D'Angelo Wallace, a YouTuber with nearly 2 million subscribers, made a video called An Uncomfortable Conversation about Cody Ko. And while much of D'Angelo's video covered all the nuances of the situation, the overarching point was that 1, Cody has a responsibility to respond to the allegations, and 2,
at this point he's got to I mean he's pretty much got to I don't know, it's not going anywhere.
Many of the channels who would typically cover this situation are choosing to stay silent.
Now, some seem to think that you're not obligated to speak up, and maybe that's what people around you are telling you as well. But from one creator to another, you absolutely have an obligation to, at the very least, call out the misogyny, the victim blaming, and all manner of cognitive dissonance that's coming from your audience in the name of defending you against allegations that you're too cowardly to address. And to be clear, this is cowardice. It's no coincidence that with the exception of the H3 podcast, I haven't seen a single channel over 1 million subscribers do so much as acknowledge that this situation exists. And I'm not talking about channels that never would have discussed something like this either. I mean the same channels that were rightfully calling out people like Dr. Disrespect for texting a minor, which are the same channels that are now completely ignoring a scenario within.
Yeah, a lot of people like to bring up like shit that Tana's done, which is just insane because that's literally so irrelevant to this situation. The reality is that this is its own situation, and this situation is bad, and like people trying to bring up her character and things that she's done in the past or who she is now even is just so not valid and just fucking stupid, and just it's really just people trying to just bring her down and I don't know, almost justify what he did, which is not cool. It's just not. This is wrong.
Even bigger creator being accused of doing something much worse.
D'Angelo's video genuinely made a ton of people aware of the situation, which caused many channels to cover the story, and now some are even reporting that Cody Ko finally responded, which I will get to, but spoiler alert, it's not really a response. There are 3 different ways that Cody can respond to the allegations, and each have different outcomes. Once you learn all of them, it's pretty clear why he is going to choose response number 3. Option number 1. Outright deny the allegations. If Cody is innocent, then just simply put out a statement saying that all allegations are false and he did not have sex with Tana while she was.
That's a pretty impossible thing for him to at this point to like really get people to believe, in my opinion.
17. However,
Far-fetched.
this will cause an absolute firestorm on the internet that he will not be able to escape. By making this response, he would be calling Tana Mongeau a liar, and Tana definitely has been known to lie and heavily embellish her life for content. Some people look at her as the classic boy who cried wolf, basically someone who has...
This is such a different situation. This is such a real like fucking criminal, fucking disgusting. This is one of the worst things you could ever do to anyone. Like it's up there. It's much different than 8 years ago exaggerating a story about a situation for content than, you know, saying that, hey, this person actually did something with me that's illegal publicly and stuff, like especially towards like somebody that's also very well known. Like that's insane. And it's really sad that people try to twist the situation, and it doesn't fully confirm it, but it's like there's so much evidence that they were around each other and making a lot of content, and it just doesn't sound far-fetched at all.
Repeatedly lied, so they can't be trusted with anything they say, even if they are telling the truth. And although she does often discuss the deepest parts of her life on her podcast, it would be uncharacteristic for her to make a false allegation of this magnitude on anyone, let alone a major YouTuber. However, if Cody denies, this will make her speak up even more to defend her side of the story, not only for herself, but for people around the world who are not believed when going through a similar situation. This will lead to the internet psychoanalyzing all of the evidence that makes him look guilty, as well as potentially unearthing new information. So let's take a look at the evidence we have as of now. Firstly, we have a potential witness, YouTuber Gabby Hanna.
There was a situation with
Gabby
Hanna at a playlist live where she pulled him aside and told him like, yo, she's 17, and then
that's
we still went and
crazy.
hooked up.
That's
One time,
crazy.
I told a guy, I saw him making out with a girl at a party who was underage, and I pulled him aside and I was like, hey man, you probably don't know, I know she like looks a little older, she's underage, watch it. And he's like, oh my god, thank you for telling me.
Nah, bro, that's totally him.
So we have to combine the information from those two clips to tell the story. It seems like they are saying that Cody, Tana, and Gabby were in Orlando, Florida attending Playlist Live. Playlist Live is an annual convention, just like VidCon, highlighting the YouTube industry where popular creators attend to meet their fans. Cody Ko was there, as can be seen in the recap video. Tana was there, as can be seen in this fan's YouTube video. Gabby Hanna also made a video about her being there. Now there was some sort of after party where they were seen making out. Gabby let Cody know that Tana was 17, and then both Gabby and Tana said that Cody...
I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these events like that, like back in the day, were like, I was underage at those events, and like, it was like, they just like have all these after parties, and like, so many of the influencers that were underage were like drinking and stuff. It was really weird. I don't know if it's like that still nowadays, but like, back in the day, I remember going to playlists, and like, that was my experience, was like going to these parties with like all these other YouTubers and stuff, and then there's just like all these like underage drinking, which is it's just kind of cringe. It's just weird. And I wasn't even the cool like kid or whatever. I wasn't really around like I didn't really have a group of friends that I was with necessarily. I had a couple people, but yeah, it's like some of them were like probably the cooler kids that were like, cooler kids that were probably like in a whole squad of people doing that. And it's like, yeah, that's fucking weird when you become an adult and you realize that, yeah, that's definitely not smart to make it happen.
He and Tana had sex that night, which would mean that he knew she was underage before they did the act. Because they were in Orlando, where the age of consent is 18, Cody, who was 25, engaging in sexual activity with Tana, a minor, can result in criminal charges even if consensual. The law states that anyone under 16 years old can't legally agree to any sexual activity no matter how old the other person is. Also, if someone is 16 or 17 years old, they can't legally agree to sexual activity with a person who is 24 years old or older. Keemstar, owner of the Drama Alert YouTube channel, also corroborated Gabby's story in a tweet where he described the exact same story that Gabby told, and even, quote, spoke with Tana to confirm the story. She confirmed it. But at the time, Tana was upset with Gabby for sharing her story. Business Insider was also made aware of this years ago. Keemstar did not report this.
That like back in the day, that makes sense for Tana to feel that way, because she probably was still wanting to be friends with Cody, and then now it's like that she's gotten older and stuff and has heard other people's perspectives on it too. It's opened up her eyes onto the reality of, oh, that's not it. Yeah, I mean, so I've been in my own positions of trying to be friends with people or protect people or let things slide that an older person's like doing something like not acceptable or etc. There's been quite a few of those situations in my life, and you try to justify it sometimes, and it's like the older you get, the more you're like, oh, that's not, you don't need to protect these people, actually, you shouldn't. But it's hard when you like still care about a person. So
information at the time, because there was no official on the record
it's not
statement
just
of
Brian.
someone making
There's a
the
lot
allegation.
of people I've had
we also
around
have a collaboration video that places them together on May 13th, 2016, 2 weeks after Playlist Live, called The Shittiest Video Ever featuring Cody Ko.
She knows a whole bunch of slang and cool words because she's, you know, a teen, whatever. So I'm here basically just to learn some teen slang, right? So do you want to...
Yeah, I'd love to.
No, seriously, I'm just like your biggest fan. Like,
People in the comments highlight that he is checking her out while being fully aware that she is a teen. The video was uploaded 1 month before Tana's 18th birthday. It's also important to consider that Tana had been a huge fan of Cody since she was 15 and 16, as she posted multiple tweets specifically saying how much she loves him and his content. She also just recently went on her podcast and revealed that she has private DMs from him that date all the way back to April of 2015.
What if I just went to my Twitter DMs with him to see if they still exist from when I was like literally a baby child? Let's see. How old was I on April 28th, 2015? What is it? Oh, all that.
Oh my gosh.
Brother. And I was just such a fan. That's like the sad part.
Not only was there a power dynamic of Cody being
Damn.
8 years her senior, but she also looked up to him as a fan. Celebrities and influencers have an extremely unnatural relationship with their fans because the fans like their art, content, or persona.
Yeah,
they
him
create
saying
unrealistic
the
expectations, making
yeah,
assumptions.
you're right with him saying that she's a teen or whatever and she's hip or whatever in that one video. That does make it even more weird because it just shows how aware the dynamic of him being the older person and her being the teenager in that situation is just like so well, like that's like such a segment that he was addressing. It's really weird.
Assumptions about the celebrity's life, morals, and opinions. It's like falling in love with someone who doesn't even know you. Plus, Tana went from being a typical fan to becoming his peer in less than 12 months, as she started her YouTube channel in mid-2015 and skyrocketed to 1 million subscribers through her chaotic storytime videos. This is also not the first time that Tana discussed the situation. In a podcast from 3 years ago, August 3rd, 2021, she said this.
Corn dogs look good.
I don't know if I was 17 or 18. I was like on the brink, but I was at a playlist live and they were like trying to hook up with me. And obviously it was like an older guy and whatever. But I mean, and a couple weeks ago, I got a call from that, should I say it?
I was doing an article.
That Gabby Hanna was trying to sell to them that this YouTuber like hooked up with me when I was like underage.
So it turns out that Gabby
Trying to
Hanna
sell that
was
is weird.
actually trying to sell Tana's traumatic story to some publication for her own profit, and she called Tana to try and get an official statement. To the people that know who Gabby Hanna is, this is not surprising. If you watch my video about her 2 years ago, you would know that Gabby has exhibited
That was a
behavior
crazy
of
situation for
pathological
sure.
liar,
That was a
manipulator,
wild one.
narcissist, all while potentially being manic. Because of this, there are already people saying that Gabby is not a credible source, going back to the boy who cried wolf logic. Even Keemstar back in
That's just in this situation, that's just really annoying. I don't agree with that. I think that's really stupid. I mean, Gabby's had like problems and stuff and has gone through stuff and has, you know, done things, but this whole situation adds up a lot and their stories add up a lot, and it didn't even seem like something that was necessarily going to blow up to this proportion that it has, which it luckily it has. It just feels really, to me, like it's a lot of like just sexism shit too as well, and it's just also a lot of just like trying, I don't get it. I don't get why people try to do that.
Is
They're
not
like
convincing
fishing
people
for that
to
shit.
defend Cody, because he doesn't exactly have the best reputation either. But when you consider the nature of how all of this information came out, it's just extremely unlikely Tana would be rounding up 3 people to lie on her behalf, especially because they aren't even raising torches and causing uproar to take down Cody. You know the saying, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are? Well, people have been very suspicious for many years about Cody's friendship with Colby Leachman. Colby has been featured in Cody's vlogs over the years. He was in Cody's wedding party and have been seen hanging out recently. They were fraternity brothers at Duke University, and on March 6, 2011,
I'm so glad I was never in a fraternity. What the fuck? If I ever said I was in a fraternity, sorry anyone that's been in one that is taking this personally, but I just that'd be very out of character for myself, I feel.
Colby was accused of drugging and R-wording a girl, then filming it and showing some of his fraternity brothers.
Yuck.
One of the men
Ew.
accused was the son of a Duke professor and stepson of former Duke provost Peter Lang. But the judge found that there was no undue influence by the parents on the process conducted by Duke. The victim told police she did not remember sexual contact with anyone on the date in question and had not consented to any contact. While the police pursued an investigation, she told the associate dean she did not want to be involved or talk about.
It's just so sad that this is such a common thing in life, and I would like to believe that it's somewhat getting better, but it's probably hasn't gotten that much better, to be honest. People are still fucking creeps and continue to be, and there's just like so many people that go through situations like this. Like you're probably more likely to meet somebody that has gone through this or something similar than hasn't, and that's just like really fucking sad and disgusting.
what
It's
happened.
cruel.
She took a leave of absence the next semester, but then changed her mind a couple years later and pursued the matter again. Duke's official Office of Student Conduct initiated disciplinary proceedings against the men and hired a clinical psychologist to investigate. A disciplinary panel unanimously found that there was not a preponderance of evidence that the men had violated Duke's sexual misconduct policies. Colby Leachman then admitted to filming the encounter but remained firm in his stance that the sex was consensual.
The fuck? Ew. I mean, that just like fully confirms everything. I mean, not that I didn't like, but that just him like being like, oh, I filmed it, but the sex was consensual. Like, shut up. Like, what? Also, like, that's fucking weird. Like, was she like even consenting to that being filmed? Like, that's so. If you're filming or taking photos or etc., or even like you're fucking like talking like to fucking people like, oh, I just fucked this girl or something, you're fucking weird. That shit's fucking weird. Grow the fuck up. Also, you're just fucking gross, dude. The hell, man? Nasty ass.
He was
Gross.
placed on probation. While some people look at this as an example of an objective investigation where the result came out as not guilty, others will look at it as a victim who was assaulted, scared to amplify her trauma, then was investigated by a biased court of the son of a Duke professor. One Redditor responded to the situation and said, if Cody truly changed and felt guilty for the statutory of Tana, then I don't think he would be giving such a platform to Colby. Hell, he shouldn't even be friends with Colby, but here he is inviting him to his wedding. I don't think he changed, and I think he's still the same frat bro who is complicit with all
I
of
still
this.
think he's still the same
Whereas
frat
others
boys.
will say that Cody cannot be found guilty of his friend's actions. On a December 2021 podcast episode, Tana spoke about Cody once again.
And so I started kind of hooking up with other people. Shout out JC Kalen, shout out Cody Ko.
Over the years, Tana's story has remained pretty consistent, yet it seemed like she held back because she did not want to ruin Cody's career. She even said that when the situation came to light years ago, Cody texted her.
There was a while ago where I think I said something about it online and it was starting to surface, and he texted me like, are we good? And was like, I said yeah.
It's tough to know
That's
with
kind
such
of that's kind of him asking, "Are we good?" Almost makes it sound like that he knows that what he did was wrong, and he's like, "Hey guys, are we good?"
It's tough to know with such little information what Cody's intentions were. A text that reads, "Are we good?" could be interpreted a bunch of different ways. What we know for sure is that it was not an apology nor a direct admission.
Why would he
of
be asking, "Are we good?"
Which brings me to Cody's second way that he can respond to this situation. Response option number 2. Admit it. Now, there is news circulating that Cody addressed the situation and that it could be interpreted as some sort of admission of guilt, but I'll let you be the judge of that. There was a statement made on the TMG Studios website, which is his podcast network that he created alongside his partner, Noel Miller. We want to start by thanking all of you for your patience while we are working to figure out the best path forward for the studio. We know it's been a very strenuous few weeks for everyone, and we really appreciate your willingness to bear with us. As we enter into the next phase of the studio, we wanted to let you know that Cody will not be involved in the day-to-day operations.
He's still involved
at
for
TMG
sure.
Studios.
He still owns
what
it.
has transpired over the past few weeks is a personal
For sure, still
issue
owns
for
part
him,
of it.
and Cody wants to remove any effect this is having on your.
Cody wants to protect his company while still making money while separating himself because, you know, but he's not going to let it go. He still owns it.
Professional and personal lives, and the work you and our other hosts have
Noel
done to
wants
make
to jump ship. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure, like, to a degree he wants to. Like, why wouldn't he? Like, that fucking sucks. It's a shitty thing, like, when somebody does something and you're, like, friends with them or whatever, and you're put in this position of having to decide or, like, figure out how you're going to take action on the situation when it shouldn't even be a thing. Like, that sucks for his friends or his, you know, people that work for him or his wife, etc. That's horrible. It's one thing when you do something fucked up and then you have to deal with it or whatever, but for somebody that's on the outside that, like, is there for you, like, that's really shitty for them.
TMG Studios so
It's a hard place to be.
Noel
It's a
will
hard
continue
place.
to lead the team. His top priority remains the life and growth of the studio and its talent.
Like obviously as an outsider, it's like, yeah, just fucking throw them away easily, like, or whatever, but it's like still like that's a hard thing to do when you're very close to someone or you have a business with someone, etc., and you have all these emotions. Like, that's, look at the human aspect of that too. That's tough. But I mean, I'm not saying that he shouldn't do that as well. I'm just saying, even if he were to, it's still like emotionally a tough thing to go. Like, that's something like this just coming out of nowhere. It's fucking shitty. I mean, when I was on tours and I would be friends with people that eventually, like, got called out for creepy things, it's like, or like maybe not like great friends, but they were somewhat friends and people I would see or bands that I enjoyed or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's a tough thing sometimes. It's like, not easy. Not trying to make it about myself or anything.
Audience sees your hard
Crazy.
work every week, and we want that to continue. They deserve it, and so do you. We have built something truly special, and he's committed to keeping that alive and well. This statement allows us to understand that Cody Ko does know the internet is discussing his involvement with an underage Tana Mongeau.
Oh, for sure.
And
How
that
could he
it is
not?
considered a personal issue for him. But that's about it. So what really was the purpose of this statement? TMG Studios is a podcast network that hosts multiple shows such as Brooke and Connor Make a Podcast, The Zach and Walid Show, as well as Cody's personal podcasts. So while they
Never
were
even heard of
addressing the
these.
fans, they were also letting their employees and business partners know that Cody's actions don't reflect the business. And the people who are a part of TMG Studios should not be held accountable for Cody's alleged actions. But Cody stepping away from day-to-day operations just means that he will not be working and still getting paid. After all, he still is the owner.
Yeah,
it's likely that
his wife is in a very hard position for sure. They just had a kid and stuff. I think did they just get married recently too? I don't know. That sucks for her.
Podcasts he stars in, such as Insanely Chill and TMG, will probably remain dormant before they try to find a different host. So back to the response. What would transpire if Cody just simply said that he did in fact have sex with Tana when he was 25 and she was 17? Firstly, he would be admitting to committing a crime. The statute of limitations in a statutory rape case is within 8 years of the victim's 18th birthday, which would mean that Tana would have had to file a civil lawsuit before June of 2024. But it seemed like Tana wasn't even interested in pursuing a civil suit. So yeah, he might not face any legal ramifications, but that doesn't mean that there won't be real-life consequences. Admitting to having sex with Tana will still result in the entire internet calling him a predator, pedophile, creep, etc.
Not trying to that's already happening at this point. Like those words are being thrown at him already, which makes sense.
He would then likely lose all of his sponsors from his personal YouTube channel and his TMG
still has
network.
sponsors?
All of the podcasts owned by TMG would probably start trying to find a different network since they don't have sponsorship revenue anymore. YouTube might even suspend monetization from his channel like they did with Dr. Disrespect. Maybe Patreon would suspend their account, and he would most likely lose bookings as a traveling DJ. And if he admits to it, then he would also be perceived as guilty of doing the exact same thing with another 17-year-old he allegedly dated. Cody posted a Vine on July 27th, 2015
I heard about this.
of him kissing his then girlfriend named Evie.
I heard about this one.
Oh, it didn't work.
Kinda.
Fuck. Damn it!
This is a photo of them in April of 2015 at a music festival. We also know this is her Instagram because Cody still follows her to this day. This is a photo of Evie and a girl named Riley, who was featured in Cody's vlogs back in 2016. She was also a minor at the time. The caption reads, "Happy 19th to this sweet girl." So if May 23rd, 2016 was her 19th birthday, that would mean on April 13th, 2015, when this photo of her on Cody's shoulders was posted, she would have been 17, and Cody was 24 at the time. The only two outcomes after admitting to hooking up with two
I'm
minors
seeing a pattern.
would be to disappear off the internet forever, or just keep uploading YouTube videos and doing podcasts while potentially making a small fraction of the money he was before, hoping that one day people will slowly forget and he could acquire new sponsors, invest in new businesses, and just hope things return back to normal. I mean, James Charles still consistently posts and has millions of viewers despite admitting to and apologizing for grooming and soliciting sexual
This shit is crazy.
photos from a minor. Believe it or not, there will be a ton of people who
This
still
shit's
support
crazy.
Cody if he does admit what he did was true. There will be people with the mindset of, oh, she was just about to turn 18. It's fine. Or 17 is legal in 35 states and multiple other countries, which
So
raises
weird.
the argument of what is right versus what is legal. Because there
True.
will always be people that look at the technical age of consent almost as a target to hit, and whatever that number is based on the law of where they live becomes their moral threshold. There will also be people that say, that was 8 years ago. He's now a husband, a father, and a changed man. Additionally, people will just simply not care because the victim was Tana Mongeau, who has
True.
notoriously been one of the most hated creators on the platform, whereas Cody is one of the most beloved creators on YouTube. Just because you don't like someone doesn't mean that they can't be a victim. And just because you think someone is this great person doesn't mean that they can't be a perpetrator. This mentality is unfortunately all too common in the real world. There are countless stories of the football player or handsome popular boy or young man with so much potential who commits a crime and the victim is not believed because why would he ruin his life? Favoritism very much exists. There are a lot of people who just don't want to believe it's true. Cody has acquired tons of love and support from his fans and fellow content creators over the past decade on YouTube, mostly because his content is silly and lighthearted while his physical appearance looks like someone who would never hurt a fly. So while considering all of the nuances of this situation, it seems like response number 3 is the likely option Cody will take. Response option number 3. Don't respond. I have to resort to the top comment of my how not to respond to allegations video. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why lawyers tell their clients
he's probably not gonna
to
say
shut
shit.
the fuck up even if they're innocent. If Cody denies, the situation will blow up bigger than ever. More evidence will be released and he will likely lose all of his revenue anyways. If he admits it, he will be stamped as a pedophile forever, while likely losing all of his revenue. If he says nothing, there still is a threat of deniability. But if he does choose to not respond and stay silent, there are 2 outcomes from there. Do you not respond and keep posting, or do you not respond and disappear off the internet? If he
feel like if he doesn't respond, eventually someone's gonna see him in person, like at one of his DJ shows or something, and bring it up, and like it's just gonna be so obvious that he's like avoiding it then. Like, I mean, or it's already obvious, but you know what I mean.
Nothing but continues to post, he will have to work overtime to censor his comment sections on all social medias to stop the influx of criticism. His wife will also be berated with the comments and criticism, which is already happening right now as we speak. But the people who defend him will stick around and lean on the fact that his silence means he did not do anything wrong, while his opposers will say that his silence means he is guilty. Now, I could talk about the 5th Amendment and how he has a constitutional right to remain silent, but by answering some questions and refusing to answer others and not expressly invoking your right to remain silent and your refusal to answer incriminating questions does not receive constitutional protection. However, at the end of the day, we're not talking about the court of law. We're talking about the court of public opinion. But if he stays silent, never responds, and decides to step away from social media entirely, it will basically prove to everyone, even his own fans, that he was guilty. So which response will he choose?
That's a messy situation. That sucks. Sucks for a lot of people. It sucks for like it's just bad. There's only one person to blame for that.